Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. As you can see, I haven't even had a shave. This is the reaction to what happened last night. Starmer sunk, Labour wrecked as Reform UK surges. There he is on the shipwreck. There's the smiling Nigel Farage. If you're watching live on TV now, you'll see what I'm on about. KeirStarmer is finished. He's toast. It's over. After a humiliating collapse in the local elections, it just gets worse every hour for him. Diddums. And the Runcorn by-election, Labour is in free fall. And the public have delivered a brutal verdict, one that I predicted. Instead of changing course, though, what does Captain Starmer do? Captain Starmer doubles down on his deeply unpopular policies. He basically said, we've got to go faster and further. The guy is a moron. So he's doubling down on his unpopular policies. That means net zero, we'll have more of that. Cuts to the winter fuel allowance, we'll have more of that. Pensioners dying left, right and centre. More indecision on gender issues. What is a woman? What is a man? And even flirting with the idea of sending our boys, British troops, into Ukraine. What's been the backlash to what he said today? Massive. Meanwhile, Reform UK is surging. No wonder Farage is smiling. Capitalising on public anger and positioning itself as the real opposition. If you want to comment, write your comments up and I'll come to them in a moment. It's your show, so I want your views. I'm saying Starmer's got to go now. What do you say? Starmer's cabinet doesn't help him either, does it? You got Rachel Thieves buggering up the budget. Yvette Cooper, she can't plug the border crisis. More holes, as I always say, in her security or her border than in Gordon Ramsay's colander. David Lammy somehow thinks diplomacy is shorthand for insulting Donald Trump and saying he's a member of the KKK, whilst racking up luxury expenses. £7,000 on biscuits in one meeting alone. His approval ratings, Starmer, are now, as you know, the worst for any Prime Minister in recorded history. So the question is simple. Should KeirStarmer resign or get booted now? And is Reform UK and Nigel Farage the future of British politics? Has there been an earthquake overnight? Has there been a tsunami of political change? Is Farage now our next supreme leader? And has Starmer completely and utterly buggered it up? Sorry about the language. If you got a view, tell us. I'm sorry it was such short notice. I couldn't do one last night. Technical issues. I've moved my studio. You won't know because I've got my backdrop back. I'm back home, but I'm firing on all cylinders. And I want your opinion. If you like what I talk about, please press the like button. Please retweet. And if you're watching later on catch up, feel free also to keep pressing the like. Also, telling me that you're enjoying what I'm delivering. And if you are enjoying it, how about donating a few squid? Dead simple. You can do it on buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, or alternatively on YouTube. While I'm on air, you can do it. You can give me a super thanks. Your name will come up in the chat and I'll highlight it, and then you get preferential treatment. I've only read about this today, but I now know how it works. So you can do a super thanks, super chat. It's like tipping me, basically. Why don't you have a go? See what you think about it. Just press on the heart, I think it is. Right. Why has Starmer's policies backfired? And therefore, why was there the collapse last night? Well, first of all, there's the net zero agenda. Do you know anybody who wants that? Rural country folk, like I used to be, I lived in the country for 30 odd years, and working class voters, which I've been all my life, not like KeirStarmer, I wasn't a tool maker's son. We're furious over the cost of these green mandates. We're also furious that we're doing so much, whereas China, Japan, India don't care. They're just polluting the planet. Listen, I'm green. I want the planet to be better, but let's keep it in perspective. Many of us see net zero, or Met Zero, as we called it yesterday, Metropolitan Elite Zero, as an elite project that hits ordinary people, working class people like you and me the hardest. That's number one. Second, the fuel allowance cuts for the elderly. In a cost of living crisis, cutting support for vulnerable pensioners was political suicide. And now Starmer saying I'm going to go faster and further, right, with his plans. He's like a kamikaze pilot with no reverse gear. But the problem is, it's not just him going down. He's taking the whole bloody country. Somebody has got to give him, this is metaphorical, I don't mean it in real terms, the revolver and the glass of whiskey and ask him to go into the study. You know what I'm saying? He should resign. Are you with me or against me? This is the John Gaunt Show. We don't hold back here. We say it as we see it. Third, immigration. The public wants tougher action, and Starmer's failed to stop the illegal crossings. I thought he was going to smash the gangs. I see now loads of people have nicked my line. I said he couldn't even smash the avocado to put on his toast. And I'm right. I'm 100% correct. I also see that Dame Andrea Jenkins, who won last night and is the mayor now for Lincolnshire, she said, well, why can't we put these illegals up in tents? Oh, the media's gone mental for this. The mainstream media, calling all the names under the sun. That's my policy. I say if it's good enough for our boys, for our troops, it's good enough for them. What do you say? Get right into me now. But Starmer, what's he doing? He's floating the idea of housing illegal migrants in private rental housing. Out of touch. Doesn't even cover it. And then, of course, there's Ukraine. British voters overwhelmingly support peace and want peace with Putin and Zelensky. We don't want escalation. But the idea of sending our boys into a live war zone horrifies most families, including mine. I don't want our lads there as a peacekeeping force. The only person who thinks he's 100% behind Zelensky and keeps telling it is Starmer. Two-tier Keir. What if he's so keen, as I keep saying? Send your own pampered little boy, Mr. Starmer. I don't call you Sir Keir. And by the way, there's a big podcast coming up this weekend, or a broadcast. Have you seen that Channel 4 documentary? That is why Starmer didn't want to have an open, full public inquiry. You think he's drowning in this picture? He's up to here in the brown stuff when it comes to the abuse of girls. And I'm going to talk about that probably over the weekend, depending on how drunk I get, if Coventry get into the playoff finals. That's a separate issue, of course. If you like what I'm saying, press the like button. If you want to donate, you can do it on buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, or feel free to donate on one of my super chats. Yeah, you can thank me as we're doing it. It's a tip. I will read out your name live in the show. Amelia Stone, I'm going to read this out because she's complimenting me. She says, you are just what we need. You say it as it is. It's a thieving government, says Amelia on Facebook. Thank you, Amelia. Fraser Ford says, hi. Graham Fletcher, a question, John. If they called a general election, could Farage get 600 plus MPs together in a month? Well, yes, he got the councillors together and he's got public support. It's not so much that we support Farage. We've had enough of them. And we've had enough of the lamestream and mainstream media. I watched a lot of it last night, and they have got faces like smacked backsides. They don't know what to say, because normally after a by-election, you go, oh, yeah, well, Labour this and the Conservatives this. They can't do that this year because it's all about reform, and they hate reform. They hate the people who vote for it. This is the BBC. This is Sly TV, which, by the way, I was the person who came up with that name first. Thank you, Mr. Wootton. Send me the royalties. You know where I'm coming from here. It's an absolute joke. The mainstream is in the pocket. They're in bed, metaphorically and often literally, with the pigs at Westminster. So let's move on. So there's the cabinet of chaos. I'm going to come to your ideas in a moment, but the main thing I'm asking you is, should Starmer resign, or was that overreaction? I want your views. The cabinet of chaos, Starmer's front bench. It's an absolute blooming shambles. I said it was like a sixth form assembly, but it's been worse than I could ever imagine. 10 months ago, we gave him this job. 10 months ago, and he's failed. Everything he has touched, as I keep telling you, he's got the Midas touch in reverse. I know what that feels like because I've had it both ways. I had it part of my career. Everything I touched turned to gold. And then everything after that turned to absolute SH1T. I've been there, so I know what it's like. But I've now tried to change that. Starmer, straight ahead. Dive, Tora, 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 is what he's saying as he flies the plane into the ship behind us. But he's not the only one on that plane, is he? Kamikaze Starmer has got to be stopped. Rachel Reeves' budget. I'm just going through the things that they've messed up. What do you make of that? It's been torn apart by every economist and ordinary people, ordinary geezers like me and you. Who did the maths for it? Or the math? Was it Diane Abbott with her abacus? None of the sums add up. But then there's no surprise. She's a liar. She lied on her CV. And then we can talk about Yvette Cooper, the woman who never gets a hard interview on GMB. Why? Because her husband works there. Fatty head balls. Fat head balls. I tell you, the whole thing is a joke. They're all in bed with each other. I told you a minute ago. That's what's happening. How can the Home Secretary go out with a guy who's meant to question them on politics? It shouldn't be allowed. Well, she can go out with him, she can be married to him, but he shouldn't be interviewing her. He shouldn't be on the telly. Maybe you've got a different view. So there's her. Her border policy has got more holes in it than Gordon Ramsay's sieve, let me tell you. There is no border policy. There is no deterrent. There is no, we'll send you back. We're going to put you in a tent. There's none of that. And then when she today suggested it, Dame, whatever her name is, they all go mad. And Laura Kuenssberg, she hated it today, talking down her snooty nose. She hates everything that reform stands for. But the problem they've all got, the uber liberals in broadcasting and in the media, is that it's what we want, isn't it? We want secure borders, not because we're racist, because Britain is full. We do want some people coming in, but we don't want people jumping the queue. It goes against our central core philosophy of fair play. With me or against me? Start commenting, coming to you in a moment. Her border policy is nonsense. She's had zero results, and there's growing public anger over it. And now let's come on to the main guy, Billy Bunter, David Lammy. Between the 7 gram biscuit splurge, I mean, I still can't make this one meeting. He spent 7 grand of our money on biscuits. And then, of course, there's been his anti-Trump outburst. Basically, before the election, calling him a member of the KKK. And he still thinks that, doesn't he? You can see his whole attitude. But then what about Sarah Smith, the BBC main woman in America? Have you seen the way she talks about Trump or Farage? How can these people keep their jobs when they're so biased? It's unbelievable. But let me tell you, Biscuit Boy Lammy is an absolute diplomatic liability. He makes us the laughingstock of the world. So he can go as well. Rachel Thieves, Yvette Cooper, him, and Ed Miliband. I haven't even got on to him. How did he get a job? And he's spending all our money. So you Reform UK have risen into this chaos, right? Reform UK, led by a familiar face like Nigel Farage, and even now Richard Tice, who's beginning to discover a bit of character. They are a real credible threat. And I said this about 5 weeks ago. I said, I'm backing Farage People laughed at me. Well, they're not laughing now, are they? He is going to be the next Prime Minister because the British people are fed up to the back teeth with people stealing from us, which is effectively what's happening. Whether it's the MPs with their expenses, whether it's illegals getting in and not going through the proper procedure. I'm not anti-immigration. How many times do I have to tell you? But it has to be a fair and honest policy. Reform is now a real credible threat. Last night, that victory, I know it was only by 6 votes or 8 votes, it's immaterial. Look where they came from nothing to that. Look how they've challenged on the other mayoral positions. Yeah, Labour have only just snuck in on a couple of them. Labour are finished. Starmer, there he is. Look at the state of him. He's finished. But no, he does a press conference and he says, well, people want what I'm doing. They just want me to go and do it a bit faster and harder. You couldn't make it up. And why is Reform doing well? Well, I'll tell you why. They're pulling in working class voters, disillusioned Tories, and even former Labour loyalists. Why? Because they speak plainly and they talk plain common sense. They stand for border control, energy security, farming security, free speech, and a return to national common sense. It's no longer a fantasy. Reform UK could win loads of seats, even hold the balance of power. But I think it's more than that. I think the way it's going, if it carries on like this, they'll form the next government and they'll do it in less than 4 years. He can't survive. And I think Labour, there was already murmurings that they want to get rid of him. But can you think of anybody in the Labour Party, maybe Andy Burnham, but he's not even an MP at the moment. They haven't got anyone to replace him. So eventually, just like the Tories, and I'm no Tory, as you know, they'll collapse. Leader after leader, they'll try a lettuce, that'll fail, and then that'll be the end of them. And then Farage will walk triumphantly into number 10 Downing Street. Am I a madman or do you agree with me? So here we are. Starmer, let me call it right. Starmer blew it. He had a massive majority. He had a broken Conservative Party across the benches from him. There were no opposition. And he had a public who was desperate for leadership and change. You know, when he says they want change. Well, yes, we did want change, but not what you've done, because you kept most of the stuff you were going to do out of the manifesto. You are a liar, Starmer, a liar. And the rest of your miserable cabinet are as well. And the British people hate that more than anything. You are a liar and a con man, and not even a good one. And when the grooming scandal really hits the fan, because this week it was on Channel 4, that programme, you've got to watch it on Catch Up. I don't want to go too much into detail about it now, but clearly you knew it was going to be on. So clearly that's why you were avoiding everything at Prime Minister's questions. You make me want to vomit. You're sacrificing the safety, the security, just the ability to have closure of thousands of white working class girls on the altar of political correctness and wokeness. You're disgusting. You're absolutely disgusting. Have I gone too far, or do you agree with me? If you do, press the like button. If you don't, tell me in the comments, or tell me in the comments you do. Let me tell you what's going on here. He had all those things going for him, but he did nothing. He's failed at every turn. There's not one thing I can think of where I think, yeah, he's done an okay job on that. He's upset the farmers, upset the pensioners, upset the students, upset the trans lobby, upset the other lobby. People who aren't trans, it just upset everybody, hasn't he? Huh? Because he doesn't know his own mind. He's not a leader, and he'll never be a leader whilst I've got a hole in my underpants. Instead, Sir KeirStarmer, got to finish in a minute. I'm going to come to your comments. He pushed policies that nobody wanted, and he led a cabinet that couldn't run a school sixth form disco. let alone a country. So I'm giving Labour a little bit of advice here. If Labour wants to survive, certainly if it wants to get another term in office, they need a leadership change, and they need it fast. Don't allow kamikaze Starmer to carry on. Put your country first as well, please. Get rid of this idiot and tell him to take Miliband, Lammy, Reeves, and the rest of them with him. No idea, absolutely no idea how to run this country. Do you agree with me or do you disagree? What do you think? Should Starmer resign now? And also, is Reform UK the only hope for real change? Let me know in the comments down under here. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more straight talking political analysis with me, John Gaunt. Hope you've enjoyed that little rant. I thought it was pretty good myself. Let's now go to your opinions. Just remind you again, if you want to contribute now, you can on eBay. What is this? YouTube. You just press that little heart and you can donate now, anything you want, and you get mentioned in the comments. Or you go to the buymeacoffee.com. 23 likes already. That's brilliant, because this show, I just decided to do it this afternoon. Loads of people watching. It's absolutely great. Thank you for your loyalty. I hope you're going to have a good weekend. I'm going to finish soon because it's Friday night. Got to go to the pub. Brian Deneen, I've always been a massive fan of yours. As you know, we met in the Whitgift Centre in Croydon. I could not have known you would become a freedom fighter and a voice for the people. I respect you, John, very much. And that's from Brian. Brian, thank you. That's very kind. Freedom for Tooting. I don't think I'm a freedom fighter. I just want ordinary, decent, silent majority people, their views and their opinions heard. And I'm fed up to the back teeth of the mainstream media painting us all as if we're racist. I had to take a guy to task today. He used to be the crime reporter on the Coventry Telegraph. Plummer, I can't remember his name. Nice enough lad, good at crime, but he's now the executive editor of one of those Daily Mirror Reach. The Daily Mirror. They took over all the local newspapers and turn them into crap. Like the Coventry Telegraph is now £1.65 to buy, and there's nothing in it, right? But they've got a website that doesn't work. But it's the same all over the country. Reach PLC, huh? Reach for the stars, right? He basically said, why is the new mayor for Peterborough, for what's it called? We know where she is. Why is she saying she wants to stop immigration? That's not her place to do it. I said, well, because she's got a little bit more influence than you. And he's coming on with all this lefty nonsense, right? I thought he was meant to be an independent journalist. If a right-wing person did that, he'd go mad. So I took him up on it and called him a boy, called him a son, and they hated it. But he couldn't argue with me intellectually because I was right and he was wrong. Where are we? Stingray for real. The people let the ballot box do the talking. They've got long memories as Labour and the Tories got punished for their empty promises. Very good indeed. Thank you very much. Oh, look, I've worked out how to do this again. Get the tents up, lads, says Craig Urquhart. Okay, slapping a bird's bottom. Weird how Zelensky has become one of the richest men on the planet in recent years. Where's that wealth come from? Yeah, okay, good point. Not on this one, though. We're not talking about it, but thank you for your comments. Come on, England, says Rule Blitz. Britannia is awake. Well, I'm not so much sure it's awake. We're certainly waking up, that's for sure. We need him gone now, along with his party, says John Allen. No, they were democratically elected. As a party, they can stay. But as a cabinet and as a leader, he's got to go. He's got to go just to save his party, hasn't he? Anyway, if Starmer did resign, who would take his place? The entire party is full of clowns. Well, I agree with you, my friend. It is. But that's not my concern. My concern is you've got to get rid of him. He's got to resign. He's got to do the honourable thing. Kamikaze Starmer's got to go. Who's with me? Who's against me? Come on, let's hear your views. All Labour MPs should step down and resign immediately. Well, there's two hopes of that. Bob hope and no hope, but I understand where your frustration's coming from. Or Real Blitz says the guy can't give an answer. let alone run the UK. And I'm loving this. This is from Slapping a Bird's Bottom, as I describe it. He says, Lammy has the IQ of a flip-flop. I like that a lot. Hold on, I've got some water. Hope you're enjoying the show. If you are, remember to press the like. And if you're listening on a podcast or you're watching this on replay later, you can still like. You can also do me a big favor, retweet it, copy it, send it out to other people so that more people start following me. The algorithm is going bonkers for me at the moment. We've just got to keep building the numbers. But don't forget, I do need your donations as well. I've got adverts now, but that's something I must tell you about. I got my latest statement from YouTube. I'm expecting in May 102 quid. 102 quid. That's for this month's money. That's how much I'm earning. So I'm not earning low. Don't think just because there's some nice adverts there, suddenly Gaunt is in the cash. He's not. I'm skint. Absolutely skint. So I need some money to keep me going. Come on, help me out. You can do it. Why don't you give me a thanks on YouTube now, one of those, and I'll read out your name at the same time. Where are we? Hardly wrecked, says Brian Stewart. What does that mean, Brian? Try and put a bit more information in, and I can understand what you're on about. He's on Facebook. As Lee Anderson said, Lammy is the village idiot. Well, maybe it takes one to know. No, it's a bit rude of me, but you understand. Lammy's safe from the KKK. Says Musical Man, there isn't a branch strong enough. Yeah, well, it's kind of funny, but it's not really. We're not when you think about what those fascist bastards used to do to black people. And so I don't really like that joke, if I'm straight with you. I can only be honest with you, yeah? And please remember, I don't read these in advance. And no, it's not many presenters can do what I do. Keep talking, go to a comment, and then comment on the comment, right? Without a producer shouting in their ear. There's nobody in my ear. Got my earplugs in. What do you call them? Hearing aids. But no one's talking to me. Starmer never even visited Runcorn. That's correct. To support his candidate prior to the voting. He's never seen in public because he's hated by so many. He's a coward of a man. He will not resign. Well, you're correct. He didn't go to Runcorn. And you're correct to say he likes hiding. He likes going abroad a lot, doesn't he? And also, of course, Nigel Farage last night called him a coward. And I think that's a good description. Surely, if you're the leader of a party, it's the first by-election, you'd go. Even if you knew you were going to lose. He didn't go, right? He's the first prime minister of any political party in over 2 decades not to support his candidate. What kind of leader is that? I'll tell you what kind of leader it is. It's no leader at all. Graham Fletcher, I get that, John, but he will want to compete in all seats. So my worry is they don't have enough candidates vetted yet. Oh, you're talking about would he be able to get enough candidates together? Well, I'd imagine he would go purely on using his councillors to do it. But not only that, Graham, to be honest with you, I think Farage now you'll see a lot of people leaving other parties and joining him. I think you will. It will happen. I don't really like that. I never used to like it with UKIP when they thought it was such a big thing to get some fat old Tory. Sorry, she's not that fat anymore. But not some big old fat Tory to join. I don't really like it. I'd like them to bring up their own people. But needs must. It's like what I was saying yesterday. You've got to be pragmatic. And we need change. We need it desperately. Starmer knows he's done for. He's running scared. The electorate can now see him for what he is. This is Graham Hatton, one of my big fans. AOR guru, he calls himself on YouTube. He has all the charisma of a packet of salt and vinegar crisps, says Graham. No, Graham. No. You're insulting salt and vinegar crisps there. He's got all the charisma of a packet of crisps like we used to have when we were kids with the little blue paper inside with the salt on. And sometimes you get them and they'd be damp, wouldn't they, in the working men's clubs? And there'll be no salt packet. And you'll be sitting on the steps outside the Coachmakers or the Tam O'Shanter in Coventry, right? That's from the Coventry audience. Oh, the Railway Men Club, which is now an Indian, by the way, called Kushti. What a brilliant Indian restaurant that is. But years ago, I used to sit out there with me brothers, our kid, and we'd have a stale packet of crisps. Sometimes the blue wrapper would be in it. And a bottle of Coke. Well, it wasn't Coke, was it? It was a bottle of Dandelion and Burdock, but not even the proper make, cheap make. 29 people have now pressed the like button. Thank you. The algorithm will be blowing up. It will be blowing up. What should we do next? So Miliband also needs potting. He's another clown. You can say that again. I was going to say we could sing that song. Send in the clowns. What's the line? They're already here. I should have had a future in musical theatre. Maybe not. Reform of just one hull, says slapping a bird's bottom. Have they really? Yeah, it was predicted. He's a boxer, isn't he? Good stuff. Really good stuff. Musical Man's asking the question a lot of people keep asking. Who could replace Starmer? Labour are the world's shallowest gene pool. You're so right. You're so right. Tony Henderson says, spot on, John. Thank you. Well, if you think it's that good, how about donating a £5? Come on, stop messing about now. Come on. Stop taking it for nout. Sharon Skellen, she's got a picture there as well. She's on Facebook. Starmer definitely needs to go. This government needs to start listening, correct, and act in the interest of the taxpayer. Oh, well done, Sharon. I'm with you. But that's the same for all governments, isn't it? But they don't. They don't. Get them all jumping in that black hole, says Diane Waterman. Yeah, the 24 billion or 22 billion. I forgot. When it comes to billions, you do tend to forget how many it is. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. What's this one? I wanted change, so I voted Labour. It's just Denise Deacon. Plonker. It's the worst. I bet he's pulling your leg, Denise. It's the worst decision I've ever made. I want to believe that Starmer, the traitor's days are numbered. They are. They are. Don't worry. He can't survive much longer. You can't keep on making the mistakes he's making. You just can't. Red Knight says, I've not heard you for years, Gaunty. Well, that's because I got blackballed. I got the sack for calling somebody a Nazi. What else happened? Oh, I nearly died of sepsis, but I'm back and I'm trying my hardest now to make a living. So if you want to keep hearing me, donate. All right, it's as simple as that. I know it sounds a bit crude the way I say that, but without it, and I'm willing to give you thanks for it. You can get on the roll of honor here on the bottom of the screen. And as I say, there's so many different ways to donate now. You could go to your YouTube and you could give a gift, right? You know what I mean? I must write these down so I can say, and then do it this way, and you can do it. That's what a professional would do, isn't it? Anyway, a professional would also have a shave before they started. I've been raging I've been up all night basically watching that crap. I don't know why I do it to myself, but anyway. So you can do it that way, or you can go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, JONGAUNT. Where else can you do it? You can become a member. Well, first of all, you should subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's free. But then you can become a fan, and that's 99p a month. That's peanuts. Or you can become a super fan. I think that's $1.99. Why don't you do that now? Why don't you just think, as soon as this finishes, I'm going to click on that and do that? It all helps. It all helps, because I want to start getting guests soon as well. Only if they're better than me. So talking about gene pools. Anyway, so that's what we're trying to do. I wouldn't have got here now, Red Knight, if it wasn't for my listeners, people spreading the word. And word of mouth's the best thing, of course. People saying, did you know Gaunty's back? He's on YouTube, he's on Facebook, he's on X or Twitter, whatever it's called. And, getting behind me and chucking me a few fivers. Thank you very, very much indeed. Yeah, really appreciate it. I'm going to pack in now because I'm going for a couple. There's only a couple of drinks I can have nowadays after being so ill. I'll go for a couple of drinks, see me mates, and I'll speak to you again. I think I've got a feeling I'm going to be doing another one this weekend because I saw that Muslim girl thing. If you've not watched it yet, honestly, you will be in tears. And he says he's a father. How can he be like that? I also thought a great line about that. Starmer keeps going on about, well, I was the chief prosecutor in the Crown Prosecution Service. And it's like, well, you didn't leave a very good legacy, did you, mate? Because it's still going on now. And that's what that documentary shows, that it's still happening now. I told people, I've written a book. It's a thriller. It's a novel based on when I was in care 40 odd years ago. It was happening then. A girl was being allowed out at night and having sex. We all thought that was great, but of course she was actually being raped. She was only 13 or 14. So it's been happening for years and it's still happening. But no one seems to care in the establishment. Oh, and somebody said to me as well, somebody sent me an email saying, John, you always seem to be having a go at Starmer. Why? To which the answer is, why not? Huh? Why not? I'm not here to play by, what's it called? In boxing, the Kingsbury rules. I'm here to give him a kick in and tell him if he did something good, I would tell you that. But I'm waiting for that to happen. Anyway, that's me done. Thank you very much indeed. Hay Fever's playing up now as well. I'll be back sometime over the weekend, but definitely on Monday. Thank you for all your support. Much appreciated. And I shall see you Monday. Most important thing, of course, is what I always say. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya. All the best.